The age of exploration dawned with a sense of boundless opportunity and untold riches. European powers, hungry for spices, gold, and new territories, sent ships across the globe. This era of discovery, however, also birthed a darker side piracy. The high seas, teeming with merchant vessels laden with valuable cargo, became a battleground. Driven by greed, desperation, or a thirst for adventure, men turned to a life outside the law. They became pirates, preying on the shipping lanes of the wealthy. These brethren of the coast operated outside societal norms, creating their own laws and hierarchies. They carved their names in history with blood and plunder. The line between pirate and privateer was often blurred. Privateers were essentially legal pirates, sanctioned by governments to attack enemy ships during wartime. They operated with a letter of marque, a document that granted them immunity for their actions. However, once the war ended, many privateers, accustomed to the freedom and profits of raiding, turned to outright piracy. This essay delves into the Golden Age of Piracy, exploring the lives and exploits of some of history's most infamous sea dogs. From Blackbeard to Henry Morgan, we will uncover the truth behind the legends. We will explore their motivations, their tactics, and their eventual downfall. England, a burgeoning naval power, played a significant role in shaping the history of piracy. Two names stand out in the annals of English seafaring: Blackbeard and Francis Drake. Blackbeard, whose real name was Edward Teach, terrorized the Caribbean and the American colonies in the early 18th century. He cultivated a fearsome image, adorning his beard with lit fuses and firing pistols near his own head to intimidate his enemies.
The sight of me was enough to freeze the blood of the bravest sailors. With flames and smoke around me, I was the devil incarnate on the high seas.
Drake, on the other hand, walked the line between privateer and pirate. Queen Elizabeth I herself knighted him for his successful raids against Spanish treasure ships. However, Spain considered him a pirate, and his exploits, like the capture of the Spanish silver train in 1573, made him a legend. These men exemplified the complex relationship between piracy and national interest. While their actions were often brutal and self-serving, they also contributed to England's growing maritime dominance. They challenged the established order, striking fear into the hearts of their enemies and amassing wealth and power in the process. In the annals of French piracy, two names echo through history: Jean Lafitte and René Duguay-Trouin. These men, driven by ambition and a thirst for adventure, left indelible marks on the seas.
The Gulf of Mexico was my domain. From the bayous of Louisiana, I orchestrated raids that made me a legend. The Americans called me a pirate, but to my people, I was a hero.
Duguay-Trouin, a master tactician, preyed on enemy ships with unmatched precision. His exploits during the War of the Spanish Succession brought him both fame and fortune.
With the king's letter of marque in hand, I sailed with purpose. My victories were not just for personal gain, but for the glory of France. Yet, when peace returned, the allure of the pirate's life was hard to resist.
These corsairs, sanctioned by their government during wartime, often found the transition back to civilian life challenging. The taste of freedom and the lure of the high seas were too strong to ignore. The Mediterranean and the Atlantic were no strangers to the scourge of piracy. From the shores of North Africa to the waters of the Caribbean, two names struck fear into the hearts of sailors: Barbarossa and Black Bart.
The Barbary coast was our stronghold. My brother and I, we ruled the seas, challenging empires and amassing great wealth. The sultans called us corsairs, but to the Europeans, we were pirates.
Black Bart, or Bartholomew Roberts, was one of the most successful pirates of the Golden Age. His daring raids and strict code of conduct set him apart from his peers.
A merry life and a short one, that's what I always said. With my black flag flying, I took more prizes than any other pirate. Discipline and respect, that was the key to our success.
These men, driven by a mix of ambition, desperation, and sheer audacity, left their mark on history. Their stories, filled with adventure and danger, continue to captivate our imaginations to this day.
Morgan. The name alone strikes fear into the hearts of many. His cunning and ruthlessness were legendary.
Indeed, Morgan was a master tactician. He orchestrated some of the most daring raids in the Caribbean.
And then there was de Bazin, a formidable foe, relentless in his pursuit of pirates. He was a thorn in Morgan's side, always one step behind.
Their encounters were the stuff of legend, two titans of the sea, forever locked in a deadly game of cat and mouse.
Hein was a daring pioneer, always pushing the boundaries. His audacity knew no limits, and he struck fear into the hearts of many.
Hein's impact on piracy was profound. He challenged the status quo and left an indelible mark on history.
And then there was Stortebeker, a name that echoed through the ages. His exploits were the stuff of folklore, and his legend grew with each passing year.
Stortebeker's legacy endures to this day. He remains a symbol of defiance and bravery, a true icon of the pirate world. The high seas were a theater of constant strife and adventure. Pirates and corsairs engaged in daring exploits and fierce sea battles. Their ships, armed to the teeth, clashed with naval fleets and merchant vessels alike. It was a time when the roar of cannon fire and the clash of cutlasses were the symphony of the ocean. Each battle was a gamble, a test of wits, courage, and sheer tenacity. As time went on, the Golden Age of Piracy began to wane. Nations strengthened their naval forces, and new laws were enacted to curb the lawlessness of the seas. The once feared pirates found themselves hunted, their strongholds dismantled, and their numbers dwindling. The era of swashbuckling heroes and fearsome marauders slowly came to an end, leaving behind tales of adventure and infamy. Interestingly, the image of the pirate transformed over time. From being the terror of the seas, pirates became romanticized figures in literature and folklore. Stories of their exploits were embellished, turning them into charming rogues and adventurous heroes. This shift in perception turned historical villains into beloved characters, inspiring countless books, movies, and legends. Even today, the echoes of the pirate era resonate in our culture. Festivals, reenactments, and pirate-themed attractions keep the spirit of these daring adventurers alive. The legacy of piracy, with its mix of danger, freedom, and rebellion, continues to captivate our imagination, reminding us of a time when the world's oceans were the ultimate frontier.